What's up? We are live.
We are live. Hey, everybody. Just
Hi, everybody.
Folks, a couple seconds to join in and join in with the Storytellers. Live for the first time simultaneously.
We got Doug.
Well, not simultaneously with Doug. We've been live with Doug before. This is the first time we have simultaneously been live on both Facebook and YouTube.
I'm trying to figure out where you guys are this way. Okay, this way is the way you guys are.
It's that mirror thing.
So
it is.
Last time we didn't, we tried to do this, and we left a third of Storytellers out of the equation. So,
but we've since improved the technology. So,
yeah, Doug, you can explain what happened last time, because it wasn't like we were just, intentionally leaving out a third.
We wouldn't do that.
It was a last-minute call. It's like we either cancel the whole thing or we get two of the three because, well, we didn't realize if we tried to use Facebook's live technology that, like we had done for many times in the past, that apparently they drop it. So, Doug, you were ready to go, weren't you?
I was ready to go. I was absolutely ready to go until, like a couple of minutes before when we found out that, oh, we can't do this anymore like this. But we found a solution, and it's an improvement on things because now, we can simulcast on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So that works out.
So Doug is our, as everyone knows, particularly if you've watched the documentary, Doug is our tech guru. So we presented Doug with a problem after kicking him off of the last live, and now he's come up with a solution that not only allows us all three to be on screen together, but also allows us to simultaneously be on YouTube. And we've never been live on YouTube. So for those that subscribe to the YouTube channel, this is a first. But, now that we're all here, I mean, we are here for a reason.
There are three of us here.
And I think we kind of dropped some hints last time when we were doing the Q&A, and we're going to do some more Q&A. So if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to chime in. In fact, we're going to take some of the questions, the hard balls we got thrown at us last time.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to.
Doug didn't answer them.
I know. We're going to pressure Doug. And because now, instead of like who answers these, now it's like the spotlight's going to be on him, so he's going to feel a lot of pressure. And then we'll also see.
About the ball. Hold on a second.
He probably has that effect, right? I don't know.
Lighting problems on the Enterprise, Doug?
Well, dude, that is a completely different franchise. This is a Star Destroyer. Come on.
He was very happy. He celebrated the 4th of May.
Is it the 5th of May that we celebrated?
4th of May. He celebrated it obviously in style because he knows nothing.
So Doug, you want to tell everybody what it is we are announcing here tonight?
That this is not a Federation vessel; it's an Imperial Star Destroyer.
Now I've just offended him.
You've totally offended me. I cannot believe this. How can I talk about music now after you've mixed genres like you have?
People are now on live internet broadcasts going to witness the dissolution of Storytellers Union.
Yeah.
This is how it happens.
How it happened.
You always hear it's creative differences, but no, normally it has something to do with something geeky that somebody else doesn't get. We've almost kicked Jerry out of the band several times for messing up some wrestling knowledge. So, at least we still got that.
So we are. What are we doing? What are we announcing tonight?
Well, last time we were asked if we've been working on music. And then, of course, I mentioned that, Doug kind of is constantly churning out music, and we're, writing fairly consistently. So there's really not a time we're not working on original music. But
we're all doing something right now. What are we all doing? We're all covering our mouths.
I see what you did there.
Which makes it very hard to sing.
Which does make it hard to sing, but it transitions into, you want to say?
We are announcing a summer cover series. So, like a lot of folks that you know, if you're following a lot of artists online right now, folks that are like all of us, kind of stuck in, not touring, not going to concerts, which is killing us, but you know, just trying to scratch that creative bug. You see a lot of folks just sitting in their living rooms, pumping out the covers. And first, we want to thank everyone for the real positive response we got to the John Prine cover that we posted. That actually wasn't even intended to be part of this. It was just sort of the way we were feeling. And as much as we love John Prine, we just did that, you know, out of just love and admiration for the man. But your all's feedback on that cover was really encouraging to us, that what we were getting ready to announce is a good thing, because actually Doug was the one that had the idea, and this was even post quarantine. Doug, you're the one that decided that we should be doing some covers out there.
Well, I think, you know, after watching back the videos you put together, especially the documentary and everything, with our old school self, when we actually did, you know, try and knock out some covers in garages and bedrooms, you know, we really haven't gone beyond the garage or bedroom. You know, we're basement rockers now, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to revisit some of that stuff that we did when we were kids, and maybe add some new stuff to it, and just, you know, just see what we throw together and see what happens with it.
And I know, Doug, you and I have kind of talked about the fact that as we've worked on some of these covers just for fun, that in a lot of ways, trying to learn someone else's song as opposed to doing your own songs the way that we are used to approaching our own songs, it kind of has opened us, at least it's opened me up, writing wise, singing wise, to maybe different things we could be even doing with our own material.
Absolutely, it's always a great way to learn and expand your own creativity, and you learn a few new things by, you know, learning somebody else's material and learn how to play from that, and then, you know, just kind of live from the masters. And I think we try to do that on everything we do anyway. But there's clearly
we were talking about that
huge influence out there.
We were talking about that last time, the fact that, you know, even just in this quarantine boredom, you know, to a certain degree that we're all in trying to entertain ourselves, that Kevin and I were going down to the basement and just challenging ourselves to do covers and covers that we wouldn't normally do, country music covers or just whatever. And how it is a growth learning kind of experience, and one, taking something, making it your own. And then two, just sort of that stretch exercise of, you know, getting yourself outside of your comfortable little box.
I mean, Doug presented this idea to us. He basically came to us, I'm going to say, Doug, it's been 7 or 8 months ago. I mean, it's been a long time. This wasn't a just, hey, we're locked down and we're bored. It probably took your two bandmates to be locked down and bored to actually start putting our butts in gear, because Doug had asked us early on, like, give me some songs that you would, throw out some songs that you all would like to do. Actually, we were in Louisville driving back.
We were driving somewhere, and because then we were like, oh,
it might have even been coming back from Forecastle or something. It might have been almost going back a year at this point, like last summer.
I don't think it was that long ago, but yeah, I mean, I remember us driving, because that was like, oh, here, this gives us like something to talk about and keep ourselves awake on our drive. And so we just started throwing out, because your question, Doug, was like, name some songs you've always wanted to cover. Just not really like
cover, no limit.
No limit. Yeah. Not like necessarily what do you do well, or what are you used to doing, or, you know, anything like that. Just more of a sky's the limit. What. And so we started throwing out some really crazy harebrained stuff. And
so we got to start somewhere, though. So where are we starting?
So I think, you know, we're starting pretty much on the nose. I don't think it's that far off from us, you know, because this was one of Jerry's selections. You know, this isn't that far off the nose as far as we go. I mean, it's not a U2 or Springsteen cover, but, you know, it is a Rolling Stones cover. And, you know, this was Jerry's call. And we're doing it in a more, not exactly the way the Stones would do it, because the Stones do it in kind of a country rock fashion. We stripped it down to a straight up acoustic version of Rolling Stones' Dead Flowers. So,
And we were really happy with the way it turned out, and so we're excited to share it and have it kick off the summer cover series that we're doing. So a week from tonight, same time that you're tuning into this, but a week from tonight on both YouTube and on our Facebook page as well, we will premiere the video for our version of Dead Flowers. Do you want to give some reasons why you chose Dead Flowers?
I'm trying to remember the exacts. We were
Gal.
I know, rub it in.
Hilarious. We were, trying to think of songs, and I don't know. That was one, like, either like early before that, we listened to someone do it, or we listened to it, and for some reason we were singing along with it, and I went, that was one we needed to do.
So one
you
of the
might
reasons,
have a better memory about it than I do, but I think I love the song. I knew that it was something that Kevin and I like to kind of sing.
I know why I think it's the right one to start with, because if you're on this side of the river in Kentucky, you'll appreciate the fact that this past weekend should have been
Derby Day.
Should have been Derby Day, and no Kentucky Derby because of the current circumstances. So Dead Flowers references the Kentucky Derby, and I thought, well, that'll be a good thing to announce around Derby time. And even more heartbreaking, and sorry for Kentuckians there's nothing more heartbreaking probably than losing the Derby, but we've never seen the Rolling Stones. And about a month from now, Jerry and I had tickets on the floor to see the Rolling Stones, and now it's
You owe me a present now.
Indefinitely postponed. I guess it's in that limbo of not canceled, but to be announced. And now I'm just hoping all the Stones live long enough for us to live long enough to see them. So I guess, between those two things of it should be Kentucky Derby Day and the fact that we should be seeing the Rolling Stones, it just like, let's tackle Dead Flowers first. And hopefully you all will enjoy it as much as we enjoyed getting to sing it, getting to play it, and then presenting it to you. So next Thursday, 8:00.
Tune
in. And now I think it's time to grill Doug with some of the questions that we got asked. So last month.
Do you have the questions still?
I'm trying. I can remember some of the questions that we.
So it's like an AMA for just me, right?
Exactly. Now we've taken 2/3 out of the equation, and if we pose the questions, actually some of them weren't all hardballs. But Doug, what have you been doing during quarantine?
Working. I'm playing guitar.
That's actually
what I'm always doing. Really, life hasn't changed for me. I'm pretty sure I've been training 47 years for quarantine. So,
I mean, from his rock and roll bunker, he pretty much does kind of self-isolate, and that's how we end up with the
That is true.
Yeah, 20 albums worth of music that we don't put.
It's all out there waiting for vocals.
I know. And actually that was something that someone asked last time, if we were working on new music. And that's when I dropped the hint that we were, we are always working on music, but we have something soon to announce. And that's what we're announcing here tonight about the cover series, but because that's a little different than the kind of music we're normally working on. But it did make me think. Someone asked the question, other than music, is there anything creatively that you're doing while you're in quarantine?
Me? Well, I am working on a Fantasy World for a tabletop RPG using a Cypher role-playing Cypher system, but it's not quite ready to roll yet. So
they had to ask.
And that is another reason why he's been preparing for this for his entire life.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I was not even aware of that, so it's even news to us. Actually, last time when we were asked that question, I took the time to cross promote and mention the fact that we got ourselves a wrestling podcast that at the time we had just started. So I guess that's considered being creative, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay.
What?
I had a text I had to.
Well, that means you have to read it out loud for all the world to hear now.
At first, I thought he had
What happens?
frozen there. And here I was trying to give some love to the Two Bros Wrestling Show over on YouTube as well as our Facebook page. Again, that's the Two Bros Wrestling Show.
Every Sunday, 8 o'clock.
Every Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Weekly reviews, except this Sunday where we go live after a pay-per-view.
So, yes, Doug and I have been between now this and the wrestling show, we are getting quite used to going live and, broadcasting ourselves, because at this point we've watched everything on Netflix, and
We have.
I'm pretty
On
sure.
everything.
Actually,
Yeah,
that was a question. Somebody asked what we were binging. So what are you watching in quarantine?
That you can say publicly.
I really don't watch a lot of TV. I watch wrestling, and there's really no sci-fi or fantasy shows that I'm really into or haven't already finished right now. I mean, I wasn't binging, but Clone Wars just finished up on May the 4th, so the final season of that. But other than that, I really don't watch a lot of TV unless it's wrestling, and we cover that every Sunday night at 8. So tune in then if you want to find out what I'm watching.
But this is turning out really good for the wrestling show.
I'm down here.
Actually, I think last time when we were asked that question, we were, just finishing up like Ozark, I think. But I mean, at this point, everything we were behind on, we've got caught up on, to the point that we've gone way back. A show that we didn't catch the first time around that everyone suggested that you got to be watching, but we started watching The Wire. And so we're, almost through season 1. We're already addicted to it.
I want to answer to Steve Herzog's question here about whether Doug and Kevin are ever going to actually get in a cage match, because I think that's a really important question, Steve. I want to see that too.
If Doug and I were actually to be in a cage match, it would probably be as a tag team, because if you want to see a throwdown and you haven't watched the documentary yet, it's these two that are going to be in a cage match. They're the ones that go at each other.
No intergender wrestling. No intergender wrestling.
I'm more the peacemaker. They're the ones that, like, the teeth come out from time to time. What were some of the other things that people asked us last time around? Oh yeah, this was what have you been listening to? Like any good albums or music that you or live streams where everyone's doing these on air shows now, like we're doing.
On YouTube, I watch a lot of other like music streamers, and it's more like educational stuff because, again, I'm that geek. So I'm watching more stuff like Glenn Fricker, Henning Polly, and Rabir Masad, more how-tos and more gear demos and things like that, which also have a gear demo YouTube show. That's Doug the Storyteller. You can check that out on YouTube as well, and go sub to that too.
We're creative.
If you're not following Doug on TikTok, he does some great dance. If you're not following his TikTok channel,
I'm doing some Instagram modeling too. But really, since Neil Peart died earlier in the year, I've been listening to a lot of Rush. I've still been clinging really heavy to the Tool album that came out last year, and I stumbled across I'm going to call them an Australian version of Tool called Carnival. It's Carnival with a K, but I've been listening to a lot of actually like more proggy kind of metal, which is going to make for a really interesting Storytellers Union album, because there's probably a double album worth of prog setting in Dropbox now, waiting for lyrics.
So between like Tool and like Rush, you've basically gone back to like junior high school, early college era, Doug.
Yes, sans the Dream Theater, but yeah, a lot of also gone back and started listening to a lot of old King Crimson, because going through that back catalog, thinking, well, something in here would be interesting to cover, but I'm not sure that we could come close to pulling anything like that off.
Hey, if you want to get ambitious, throw it out there. We'll see what we can come up with.
Why not?
If we can't, we just we pretend like we don't get it, and sorry, Doug.
Dropbox. I don't know.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
I will say that last time I think when we talked about some of the music streams we were watching, Josh Ritter and the like. But Todd Snyder, who's a big influence on us as well, we followed Todd for years. He just he does a Sunday show, and here recently he did an all John Prine show that was just amazing. But I'd say that's a good one to check out, and I haven't checked it out yet. And Doug, you'd be interested in this one too. Just saw where Radiohead just posted their entire show from 2006 at Bonnaroo.
I was watching a little bit of that earlier.
Yeah,
That's considered one of the best shows. They consider it the best festival show they ever did, and so I'm. That was Jared and I actually going to Bonnaroo. We saw them at Bonnaroo when they returned, but that first performance when they were there from 2006, we'll have to go check that out.
That is something I've also been listening to a lot lately. Ed O'Brien, the other guitar player in Radiohead, released an album in April called Earth, and I've been listening a bit to that. That's been on not as heavy rotation as Rush or Tool recently, but Ed O'Brien's in that mix too. But
I think last time we mentioned like Drive By Truckers album was good, and the Waxahachie record is extremely good. I will add to it that since we did the last Q&A, that the Lucinda Williams record that came out is fantastic.
Well, thanks, Steve. Yeah, he's Steve said he'd love to hear us do some covers, and your wish is coming true. Herzog, it's gonna happen because we're gonna release the first cover next Thursday of our version of the Stones' Dead Flowers, and we did record just Jer and I, but we did record a couple of other John Prine covers since the last one was so well received, and we're going to post those as well. Those are just us live, just sitting around, just picking. But the summer cover series we're doing and kicking off with Dead Flowers are actually studio work that includes all three of us. So we're kind of excited to see how people respond to songs that they know coming from us.
Hey Steve, you got any requests for us? I'm curious to what our folks out there on the interwebs would like to hear us give a shot to.
We think we should do Zoggy and
do Zoggy? Is that an alien race?
Zog. That's his grandfather name.
He's Zoggy.
Zoggy.
What?
Hey, Steve, it's too inside baseball there, Chair. You're confusing him. Steve was at the YouTube show in Louisville, so if we throw out a YouTube cover at some point, which again might seem a little on the nose for some would say, though they're all YouTube covers.
I once described us as a Springsteen-inspired YouTube cover band that plays only originals. So
that sounds about right. Yeah,
that's actually probably
it is a little on the nose for a YouTube cover.
Yeah.
Cover, I think. But I'm willing to give a shot at anything if anybody has some suggestions. And I think this would be a good creative exercise for all of us to knock us completely out of our comfort zone and see what somebody comes up with. Maybe we should put a poll up or something and have some people comment, and get some interaction going with people.
I thought about the fact that once we start posting covers, and if people start digging what we're doing, that they might, if you're doing the Stones, we'd also like to hear you do X, Y, or Z. So it might actually, I'm hoping that maybe people come up with some ideas of things they'd like to hear us cover. Maybe we'll take the most outrageous cover idea that it gets proposed to us and see if we can make a go at it.
I've got to say, I think you've already had our most outrageous cover idea.
Do what now?
I'm calling you have our most outrageous cover idea.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm down with doing a Pretender song. I'm totally down with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This one would actually kill it.
I love Chrissy Hines, so yeah, I would. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us what song that you would like to hear us cover. Add to our list. If there's a particular song or artist that you think Storytellers Union should cover, let us know, because we're open-minded people.
And we're stuck inside.
The only person this does not apply to would be my brother, who will have us doing some bizarre off-the-wall, like death metal song.
I'm down.
I was gonna say you're
No, but like bad death metal, like my brother's kind of taste in death metal.
Is there good death metal? I mean, you
Not
say
really, but there's worse. You know what I mean? There's levels. You know.
I don't
So
know, if we down tune enough, maybe I could actually sing the song if we're going to death metal, you know. So
Hey Doug, what
yeah,
is your favorite song on my sister's playlist?
I haven't heard your sister's playlist.
that was a question. That was a question.
I'm going to say
That was a
it's
question we were asked last month. I'm pretty sure it was directed to me, but it didn't say to me. It's what's your favorite song off your sister's playlist? So we thought we'd pose that one of you as well.
It's that song from Frozen that's on her playlist. Because I'm sure it's there.
I'm going to say you probably took a wild stab and you probably nailed it. I'm sure it's on there. We were asked, and I thought it was a pretty good open-ended question, but and Doug, once all this ends, and it will eventually end, once quarantine is over and the world opens completely back up, what is the first thing a self-imposed hermit like yourself is actually going to do if he can go outside?
Have a drink with all my friends in person.
It's not cool, Doug.
Not cool.
Not cool. So the other night, you know, quarantine activities. The other night I couldn't sleep, so I decided I'm gonna start doing what everybody else is doing and organize some boxes and some old, you know, stuff. So I'm going through my big box of memory stuff, and I find some letters from Doug that were from like the recording studio days. Well, one for Pittsburgh, one from
Every
the
day from a recording studio day for me.
and it's really funny because in one of the letters here, you are bemoaning the fact that you're not going to have a lot of fun because you're in a cabin style dorm. Now, this is in 1993. And you're in this cabin style dorm, and no one there seems to be cool. Everybody
Hopefully none of those non-cool people are watching tonight.
Yes.
Otherwise they're offended.
I don't know if you're friends with any of them. But this was your first initial impression, and you actually say maybe you're jumping to conclusions about some of them because you said the guys I'm rooming with don't seem to be cool. They go on about drinking, and one of them smokes pot.
You know,
not cool. And you literally have not cool.
Not cool.
Not cool.
There was a
They
time
drinking a lot.
Let him defend himself.
There was a time when I was a very antisocial hermit that shut myself off and was very closed-minded about a great deal of things. Is if you didn't fall into my very narrow wizard spaceships and rock and roll world, you really weren't cool. And you know, if you weren't at the recording workshop to learn how to record, and you did not spend any of your free time in a studio or studying to get back into the studio, yeah, what are you doing partying? I'm not here to party. I'm here to learn how to record so I can, you know, party like a dead rock star later on. But
well, you do
in different mind for me, and you know, I've still got my studio and my Star Destroyer, so.
And he's still partying alone. So.
Well, there's one dude that you say looks like a guy that we went to high school with, and so you kind of refer to him as that because apparently he looks like that dude. And then you said, I spoke once with him as well and have found out that he too drinks. Not cool, period. There's another guy that I don't know, but I think he is living here. Anyway, whoever he is kept talking about going out and getting drunk. Oh, well, the last guy I'll tell you about is another dude named Joey, and he has
Joey.
And you like Joey because Joey's
cool.
Nice. And
Joey has a Beatles cover band called Dear Prudence, and he is I think he is a school teacher or something like that. I'm not sure if he follows us, but Joey's still cool to this day. Joey and I recorded a song together at the recording workshop. And I think
he was serious. He was there for the right reasons.
And he put up pictures of his girlfriend.
Yeah, he was there for the right reasons. I mean, he checked all the boxes. He loved the Beatles. He was there to learn how to record and make music. You know, he was cool.
You didn't know that she was going to pull a "This Is Your Life" kind of thing on you.
Yeah, It was pretty funny. It was, yeah, it was a good way to spend the entire night because I couldn't sleep
But
going through all these memories.
I
But
did like your answer, though. I do think that once this all does come to an end, the actual getting together again would be, I think, at this point, first on most people's lives.
Excellent.
The young ones know. You missed it earlier, Steve. I messed up when referring to his destroyer.
he may not have missed it. He may just be pretending
I
not to know you to
I
stay
mixed
face with your
my
grandkids now.
no, he knows. I mix my genres up between Star Wars and Star Trek.
It's more franchise. I mean, you have the genre right. You know, I mean, it's sci-fi,
That's
but
true.
you said the franchise wrong. So
You know,
It's very forgiving of you, Doug.
my apologies to Doug and to Steve's grandkids for my earlier mistake.
well, yeah, this will make you feel better because Mary Beth works with a lady who's a big Star Trek fan, and asked Mary Beth the question, which is Doug's favorite? Does he lean more Star Trek or Star Wars?
That's a big.
I'm just going to say Mary Beth got the answer wrong because she said, I think it is insert here, and then she asked me about it later. Yeah, I probably won't because I wasn't cool either, gal. The only one I actually still hear from is Joey, and he was the cool one. So
Yeah, she would entertain me with those stories the other night. I didn't know she was actually going to read them on air here. I'm like, I hope they're not watching. They're potential subscribers. We could be you could be offending them if they found out that Doug, the epitome, obviously of cool, sitting there in a Star Destroyer.
That's what I'm thinking. Is as much as you thought they weren't cool.
wait. I've evolved since then in my tastes.
You have.
They're flipping
You
through.
have.
They're flipping around on YouTube videos right now, and they're catching. And was that? Yeah, that pretty much calculates the way we figured it would turn out.
You know that dude? He was not cool.
Not cool. And what happened to all of his hair?
He's now bald, drinking alone in a Star Destroyer. In many ways, this was always the dream, and he's living it.
Living in the past.
So, living in the past, that we are. And, for those who are now just joining, or maybe didn't catch it earlier, the reason that we went live tonight with an announcement is that, one, we are bored, like most folks, being locked down, and we're being bored while trying to, amuse ourselves by being creative. So, starting next week, we're going to kick off a series of cover songs that we're going to be releasing over the summer while we're continuing to work on our own music, because that was asked of us last time as well. And
you wrote a new song last week.
I did, and Doug's got some new music that he's been bantering about. You've wrote a new song in the last couple of weeks. The one I wrote was the first lyrics I had written, and I'm ashamed to almost say how long. It's been a couple of years since I've actually penned fresh lyrics. So I'm eager to start doing our own stuff, and it'd be great if we come out of quarantine with an album, but no promises there, but we're continuing to work on it. But we, in the meantime, have some fun covers that we hope that you all will enjoy, including a couple more John Prine things that Jared and I did, and then a full band series of covers that we're doing in the studio starting next Thursday night at 8 o'clock. The Rolling Stones' Dead Flowers is the very first song we're going to do. We're not going to give away the other songs that we're doing.
But you let us know what you think we should do.
We could add to it.
Comments and let us know what you think we should cover.
We have now 4 or 5 in the can.
Told us that we need to do a Pretender song, and I'm all for that.
I would be completely down with that. I mean,
I'm definitely down with the Pretender song. Absolutely. I would love to get some input from people, and what do people want to hear? Because we've thrown some ideas back and forth, and Kevin has a song that he had picked that is just way out there, and everything I've looked at, everything I've Googled on YouTube with other people that have covered it. Hold on a second. Other people that have covered it.
Yeah, it's not an easy one.
Uh-oh.
We've just lost our Space Commander.
Hey, what you doing?
Oh, I think we have maybe Liam.
Come on. Come here.
Liam's
I think Doug's
really fourth member of the band.
I think Doug's encountered an alien. There's other life on that Star Destroyer.
Hey, Liam.
Kevin and Jerry.
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
Hey, Daddy.
It's a Star Destroyer. He knows what it is, Kevin.
I know. Liam and Steve's grandkids all know what it is, and I called it the Enterprise. I know what the Enterprise deck looks like, and I messed up. So Liam is definitely the commander. Liam actually, and again, we don't want to give away some of the other songs that we're doing, but maybe when we go to do the next cover we're going to post after the Dead Flowers, we'll give the story behind it, because Liam actually is someone who helped fix it, because we had it wrong and he set it straight,
right.
Didn't he, Doug?
He sat right here on the bridge of the Star Destroyer with me, and we worked it out.
He told him, Dad, that's not right, and turns out he was right.
Like,
Hey, come over here.
I watch
He's got
crash.
Hey, buddy. What do you have?
Who you have there, bud?
Give it up to the camera. I can't see it.
Iron Man.
Spider-Man.
Iron Man.
Hey, you sung the other day.
Iron
You sung the other day, didn't you?
What
It's
was
all
it?
red. I
The
can't
song
see
you
what
sang?
was it.
Iron Man?
No, it wasn't Iron Man. Although we could cover Iron Man if you want.
What
Is
was
that your request for us to cover Iron Man?
No, yeah. What was
Iron Man.
it? Do you remember?
The song you sang?
Earlier?
No.
Yesterday?
Yesterday?
What was it?
The song you sang.
Lightsaber. Yes. I'm sure I know he has many
Yeah, he's got one. He's good, man.
the genre appropriately so.
I was going to say, Liam schools me with toys. He shows me all the stuff that
And
he
all the
has
superheroes and
knows them all by name.
plus Liam tells the best stories.
See you, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
That is our future drummer right there, everybody.
Future drummer.
We shut the door, please.
And
Thank you.
maybe even future background singer.
Not if he sings like I do.
We'll hope he takes his voice after his mother.
Yeah. No, Mary Beth can't sing either.
I would say I've heard Mary Beth sing as well. We'll let her stick to. She's a good interviewer.
Hey, Linda. Yes, we are back online.
We're back.
Yes, we know we have not done anything new in a while. We once we kind of wound down the promotion we were doing for the last album, which it's hard to believe it's going on 2 years here in a latter half of 2020 since the album's been out. So we did videos, some singles off of that, and then we never really took a break. We've been still recording new music as well, but we're here tonight to
take over your interwebs, Kenny. That's exactly what we're doing.
take over the internet,
Over.
asking questions of Doug. We're last time around it was a Q&A where you could just ask storytellers anything, but Doug didn't participate. So now, if there's anything you ever wanted to know about Doug, we're grilling him. We're presenting him with stories from his past, and we're just making him relive the whole thing here tonight.
Oh yeah, I have letters. I have letters from 1993.
No, dude, he's not using a green screen. He actually has
Yeah,
a Star.
This is my Star Destroyer.
It would be geeky enough if the man owned at least one green screen and not multiple green screens. But no, he actually went and purchased himself a destroyer.
I built it by hand.
Always good times.
But yeah, so if you all have ideas for songs that you'd like to hear us do, we got, like I said, 4 or 5. Doug mentioned that, my idea is probably pretty crazy. There's a reason why we're not telling you in advance the ones that we're going to be putting out this summer, because some of them may not work. That crazy idea may be just a little too crazy, but we're going to give it a shot. So hit us with your best in any genre. I mean,
What would you like to hear us cover?
Doug's listening to metal. We're listening to a lot of folk here lately. So between those two extremes, we all
Folk
listened.
metal.
We all listened to
Metal.
pretty much everything from heavy
Folk.
to soft. So there's nothing that will be too outrageous. You can
Did you just say from heavy to sauce?
What?
Heavy to sauce?
Did she say something about heavy sauce?
Did you say something about heavy sauce? We listened to
I don't listen to it most of the time.
I don't believe I said heavy sauce, but if you want to hear us cover heavy sauce, we will do it.
Is that like what is it, G Love and special sauce? I'm not sure we can pull that off. We don't have the soul for that.
What Kenny wants to? What would 5th or 6th grade Kevin want to cover?
The things that Doug probably have already talked about. So yeah, Kenny will remember me around the age when I first got into Springsteen. So because we go way back, and so there was a time, not 5th or 6th grade, but I think around 7th or 8th grade, that as I wrote, and because I had been doing lyrics, gosh, I was starting writing lyrics when I was in junior high. But at the time, it wasn't under the name Kevin Compton. I had a stage name.
Stage name.
Which was have I ever told you this one, Doug?
Well, I know one of your stage names, so I don't know if it's one you're about to drop here or not.
It's not Kevin Saint, which was probably the one you're thinking, which is
wait, wasn't that Kevin Saint Love?
It was Kevin Saint Love.
I'll be on that and just become Kevin Saint, because I knew you as Kevin Saint Love.
Kevin Saint Love actually would be a great stage name if it was the 1980s and we were doing heavy metal covers.
Please don't request 80s hair metal for us, though. Please don't.
Hey, well, I was going to get off topic, but yes, back in the day, Doug and I were in a band that you see featured in the documentary, and our high school band did do hair metal covers that were actually done up as thrash covers. We did a very, very thrashy version of Poison's Talk Dirty to Me that we would pull out from time to time. It usually worked out pretty well. I mean, at the time, we thought it was good.
That one time we decided to play it live, we didn't tell you we were going to play it live. We just started playing.
Which that I was fine with because I actually knew all the words to that. Sadly, when you all started playing Nirvana and Smells Like Teen Spirit, I love, but whoever knew all the words to that? So you really screwed your lead singer of that time around live in front of a crowd. But yes, Kenny talking about junior high. Kevin Winterstein is what.
Kevin Winterstein.
Oh yes, I don't think I ever told you that one.
That is terrible. And gals, stick around. You may hear it someday.
That is always a popular choice.
What's that?
Tom Petty, a little Tom Petty, Stevie Nicks. You never know. That's a good
Always
suggestion.
A good suggestion. We might make it happen.
No, Kenny, you're right. It who knew it had words? I was fine for the chorus. Literally, these guys got me on stage. We come back from taking a break. The first set.
This was a Dingus, right?
Lake.
Okay.
Charitably, we can say the first set did not go well. It did not go well. It was not a good night for us. So we take a break and they decided without me that keep it from being so self-serious, since it wasn't going well anyway, that they were just going to play a song not on the set list that we didn't know, that they knew I wouldn't know, and not tell me. So curtains open, we walk out, they go into Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I, like Kenny, you're right. What words? So I did my best to just mumble my way through it until we got to the chorus that everybody knows.
So this, my wife would love this. Simon and Garfunkel.
I would be for that.
It would be a stretch. You are correct, because those are
good voices.
Those are some good voices, but
we're a little gritty. We can grit it up. That's okay. That's one of the things. I mean, I really love taking a song and making it, my own or our own, or and just, it doesn't necessarily. I mean, obviously, I have a lower voice and a gravelier voice and so forth. So somebody like Stevie Nicks or Chrissy Hind or something like that's in my wheelhouse. It's a comfort for me, but it's fun to take things that are not in that wheelhouse and make it ours, make it our own. And so and Simon and Garfunkel are fantastic. That'd be fun. It'd be fun to try. That's
make it your own is right, Steve, because that's kind of what we're doing with the cover series. I can think offhand, again, not giving any titles away other than the one we're announcing with Dead Flowers. But if we do the ones we currently have in the queue, I'm thinking we got 4 different genres represented at least.
And I think only one of those is like a straight cover, and it'll probably be the one we release next because I'm all for owning it because I'm not a fan of doing a straight cover because we're not going to sound like any of the original artist. So I think we need to take them and make them our own. But the closest to a straight cover will probably be the second song that we've got in the bag already and that we can release. It may have some hints of Neil Young in it. It's not a Neil Young song, but I think after I finished one of my guitar parts, I immediately texted Kevin. I was like, okay, I did this, but it's in the style of Neil Young now, I think.
And that one's pretty much in the can, and I'm excited about it because it turned out fantastic. But I think you're right; it probably is the straightest cover. At the same time, it's probably the most obscure song as far as like the common folks maybe knowing. A lot of these songs are like Dead Flowers, pretty well known, but this one will be one for the crate diggers. If you remember this one, then you definitely grew up in the 80s. But and it's from a completely different genre and a completely different style of music than what you're going to hear next week with Dead Flowers.
Yeah.
So this is fun. Simon Garfunkel, and I loved Don Henley back in the day. Seeing that there, Kenny. That's a song I have not heard. I haven't even. It's been 20 years since I've even heard that song. But yeah, that's actually was kind of the fun thing when Doug said, just what songs would you like to do? We realized pretty quickly that the list was so huge that we could spend all of our time doing other people's songs and completely forego our own if we didn't start limiting ourselves to let's pick the cream of the crop or the ones that would be the biggest challenge and just have some fun with it. Because before you knew it, we could have been doing 4 or 5 albums worth of just us doing songs we like. Because I mean, from blues to folk to metal to indie rock to
it's easy to get swept up in that. I mean, like we were talking last time, we decide, we're going to, go down the basement and just do some karaoke. And 6 hours later, we've gone through a pretty exhaustive list of just country. And that was just country music that we decided to do, starting way back old school country. And we still woke up the next morning going, there was still this list of songs that we didn't do. So, I mean, it can, when it gets into cover music, you really can just kind of go down a rabbit hole and you have to try to hone in on a specific purpose or mission with it. And then, and try to focus it on that. But yeah, it's, but it's fun. It's a fun thing. And it's fun to take something and make it yours while using it, I think too, as a creative springboard for writing your own stuff. And it's funny because, everybody has their own writing style and different ways of writing. I know Kevin does than I do and such. I often write during concerts. I will go, I've literally written songs at music festivals and stuff because I've heard something, listened to something, and then just boom, next thing I know, a line pops in my head and I have to walk to the back and sit in the ground for a bit and sit and write on my phone because I have to, while I'm remembering it. But I will often write in the middle of doing something, that's listening to other music, and it'll have nothing at all to do with the song. It doesn't sound anything like it or anything. It's just that inspiration hits. So I think doing stuff like this helps to inspire the additional creative process on our own part.
Yeah.
And as Kenny points out, also, we can get some more traction over on YouTube too, because I think a lot more people, check us out on Facebook for these lives. I'm looking at it right now. Most of our, or actually all of our viewers are on Facebook right now.
Well, we have and thank you if you follow us on Facebook. It's kind of like go to where they're at, right? So Facebook is where we have several hundred folks who, have been kind enough to follow our page. I don't have that kind of traction yet on YouTube, but we would love to get there. So if you do a lot of YouTube or you're more of a YouTube person, be sure that you subscribe to our channel there as well. Hopefully this will help with that, going live here on YouTube for the first time. I will say that the John Prine cover we posted a couple of weeks ago got a lot of traction on
Absolutely.
YouTube, which
Kenny's definitely right, especially for a band like us that has done nothing but originals, it helps to pull in extra eyes that wouldn't necessarily be on us and see what we're doing with other songs that they're familiar with too. So it's our way of playing the bars and getting out.
Obviously, a lot of people were obviously searching for John Prine after he passed. So I think that got people to maybe check out our cover who wouldn't otherwise. So hopefully a few of those folks stuck around and checked out some of our other songs.
You'll leave that right there.
It can happen. Yeah.
The angel's share.
It can definitely happen.
Just the angel's share.
Or the devil's cut, either one.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. What Kenny's saying there about Facebook. I know that when we posted the John Prine cover a few weeks ago on YouTube, it definitely recognized that this was not our song. And it's amazing how quick that algorithm is. And during the process of posting, it was, it'd give me the folks that own the rights to the music and the publishing company and all that stuff, which I'm like, wow, that's fast. That's like instantaneous. The algorithm picks up on the cover. Doug, do you know whether or not you can post a cover on Facebook?
People do it all the time.
Is it still up?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as long as you're not trying to monetize it, as long as you're not trying to get folks to go out and buy something that has it on it, or in any way tie it to some sort of commercial enterprise. So as you know, hopefully you've downloaded our last album, but you can do so through Amazon, and you can go stream it on Spotify, or all those services. Even though they are free to use with ads, or if you have a paid subscription, it's part of your paid subscription. It's pennies, but even though we aren't charging for it, even if you download it, we're not charging for it. It does generate a small amount of money that comes back to the artist. And even for something like that, we wouldn't be able to post these things for free for streaming on Spotify or anything, because they have ads. So that would be a form of monetization for those advertisers. So posting the cover on YouTube is a good way for us to share other people's music in a different way than we are able to share our own, where Bandcamp, Apple Music, all those streaming services that we're on out there. That's why we're not using those for these covers that we're getting ready to put out there.
Yeah, that Prime cover is still up on our Facebook page. So
cool.
The Facebook algorithm must not be as fast as the YouTube algorithm.
I thought I'd seen other covers before, and again, I guess the difference probably is where you're not trying to sell them something, or we just do such a bad job of it they don't recognize that it's someone else's song.
That is not the case with this cover, but.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But yeah, we got a couple more John Prine things that we did just because we've been listening to him a lot lately, and we just challenged ourselves to learn a few of his songs. Actually was helped to get me out of my lyrical songwriting funk, where I was kind of having some writer's block. So it inspired me to start writing a lot more story-based songs here lately. So I'm excited about going that avenue. But for now, we're excited about bringing you the Rolling Stones next week, since Jerry and I won't be seeing the Rolling Stones next month.
We will bring the spirit, I guess, of
the spirit of the
spirit.
Yeah,
of the
laid-back country pickers, the Rolling Stones, the Graham Parsons version of the Rolling Stones.
That's what it was. That's what we were listening to. We were listening to Graham do a cover of, and then I said we should cover this.
Graham Parsons is a big inspiration to us too. He was one that definitely straddled that genre line between folk singer, songwriter, rock and roller, country. He was, and had a little bit of you know, a little bit of a toe dip in each of those worlds, and that's kind of what we aspire to do. I don't know that we respect genres so much as we like what we like. It's either good or it's not good to us. So if a good song holds up regardless of genre, right?
Yeah, which I think is the beauty about us being independent artists, because we are definitely all over the place. Even on our original material, we go from like country rock to, I don't know, a little bit more on the experimental art rock, artsy kind of thing, to a 10-minute singer songwriter ramblings.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we had a actual management and a producer and somebody was trying to make money, there'd be I can think of particular songs on the last couple albums that they would have suggested that maybe we just trim that down or take that off. But
yeah, let's put 3 more songs on the album that could be singles instead of this one song.
But those are the roads worth taking. Those experiments were fun. Some of the stranger things on our last couple of albums are, whether it's Jellybone or Pebbles or something, or from the first album, what can we do that hasn't been done. Some of those things are some of my favorite things we've done, even as they're maybe non-conventional. But who wants to be conventional anyway, right?
Conventional is boring. It's
Says
not
the man
cool.
sitting on the Star Destroyer.
Cool.
That's right.
Not cool, Doug
Not
says.
cool.
He says not cool.
Not cool.
No, not.
Well, folks, we appreciate you sticking around with us. I realize we've been going almost an hour now, so that's great. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying sane, and you're all cooped up like us. So we appreciate the fact that you took a little time out of your evening and what other plans you could have been doing or watching or what have you, and spend it with us. So if you joined late, next Thursday, this same time that we started this, 8 o'clock, Facebook and YouTube, we're dropping our cover version of Dead Flowers. It is the first in a series of covers you'll be seeing from us throughout the summer, and we hope you chime in and let us know what you like about it, and let us know what else we should do. And if we throw one of those in the mix, if we're able to pull it off, we'll even give you credit. We'll do a shout out for the person who suggests the song that we do.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Call your mother on Sunday, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
See you, folks. Thanks again.
Bye, guys.